Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Aquí tienen las instrucciones a las preguntas de reflexión a la película Cesar Chavez. So, in anticipation of the film that we're going to be watching this week in celebration of Cesar Chavez Day, which is Wednesday, March 31st, I would like you guys to click here and take a look at the film synopsis first. So again, click here on this link and that'll take you to the film viewing guide. We're going to start this in class, and before we watch it, read the synopsis so that you have a better understanding of the political framework, social framework, racial framework within which that Cesar Chavez carried out his life's work. A little bit about his family background here, how he became involved in politics and community organizing, advocacy for workers' rights, for labor's rights, and migrant workers in particular, in California, and especially in the Central Valley. So take a look at the synopsis, that way you have a better understanding. This is all true story, right? I mean, Hollywood takes some liberties, of course, but the basis of it is certainly accurate, and a lot of the film highlights some of the more progressive and aggressive, not aggressive in terms of physical, but aggressive in terms of, well, effective means of getting the attention of the media, politicians, and certainly the landowners themselves to really listen to the concerns of these migrant workers who really, up until that point, did not have a voice, did not have an advocate. And he was the advocate for so many, improving the quality of life and the working conditions of so many. So please go ahead and take a look at those, or at the synopsis, and then what you're going to do is kind of reflect on the more contemporary issues that we're facing right now. Folks that are able to work from home during the pandemic compared to folks who have not been able to. How about your folks? Have they had the luxury of being able to work from home, where things are obviously a lot more safe? Or have they been forced or relegated to going into work, even throughout the pandemic? How about the working conditions of essential workers? Maybe for those of you who have family that are in the medical field. Remember at the very beginning of the pandemic last year, where medical professionals, nurses, and doctors were having to wear trash bags because there wasn't enough PPE, personal protective equipment, for these medical professionals to protect themselves and their colleagues and their patients that they were serving. Talk about those working conditions and, you know, how hazardous those were, especially at the beginning. Income inequality that exists in this country, and especially in the Bay Area. Racism in the workplace, the gender pay gap, the difference between what a woman makes and what a man makes. I saw in the news, I believe it was yesterday, that yesterday marked the day at which women would finally catch up to men in terms of what a man makes over the course of a year. A woman would essentially need to work 3 additional months to make the same amount as a man does doing the same job. That's called gender pay gap and gender discrimination in the workplace. So talk about those contemporary issues and maybe draw some parallels between, the issues that workers face now and how they're similar to the issues that migrant workers were facing in the time of of Cesar Chavez's advocacy. I think you'll find that there are a lot of parallels there, and maybe a similar advocacy, similar movement that should take place today. And then when you're ready, as you're watching the film and upon conclusion of the film, you're going to pick any 4 of the 16 reflection questions here. So you can choose any 4 of them, and they're in English, so your responses will therefore be in English. But respond by sharing your own opinion, your perspectives, your experiences, your observations, your interpretations of what we see here in the film. So again, pick any 4 and write at a full paragraph, right? 5 to 7 complete sentences sharing those observations. That's your assignment, everybody. But really getting you to really tie contemporary issues with those that are portrayed in the film and have an understanding. At the very end, they talk about one of the questions. I can't remember which one it was, but one of them was talking about, dang it, where was it? People not really understanding. Here we are, number 12. Students really didn't know about Cesar Chavez when they were surveyed. Young students were. I mean, some really ignorant responses, right? Not being aware. Why are these folks? We hear about Martin Luther King, for example. We hear about Rosa Parks. Why are some of these other instrumental figures not portrayed in history or popular history? So maybe some of those questions you can pick to reflect and share some observations on. But that is your assignment associated with the film. I hope that you enjoy the film and the reflective process, and enjoy as we celebrate Cesar Chavez and all of those that were instrumental in the fruition of his work.